Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Today's webinar, Smart Surveillance Made Simple, Integrate AI and Analytics into Your Current System, hosted by CBC America. Before we get started, I'd like to cover a few housekeeping topics. Please turn off your video and keep yourself muted. Today's webinar is being recorded, so we will share the link with you after the webinar is over via email. We also invite your comments and questions. Please open the chat box on your screen. If you think of a question at any point, just type it in there and we'll have a question and answer period at the end. Our speaker today is William Godoy. William is the Field Applications Engineer here at CBC America, having spent nearly 11 years in the role. He specializes in designing and implementing security systems for various enterprises, drawing on his background in IT management. Godoy's education includes a master's in project management and a bachelor's in networking and communication management, complemented by certifications in aviation. William, would you like to begin?
Yes, thank you for that introduction, Nina. Hello and welcome to everyone who's attending our webinar today. I appreciate you taking the time to be with us. So following our conversations about artificial intelligence and how we can use that technology to our advantage, today we're going to be talking about another aspect of AI, or another product, I should say, that GANs offers, which is going to be leading to what we call our AI box. So we're going to start off with talking about the benefits of adding AI to your system, right? So some of the main topics that we're going to talk about adding AI to your system is enhancing threat detection, right? So as you can see here in a very clever little snippet that we have here on our slide, you know, the AI box does exactly what you expect it to do, right? It's going to detect people. It's going to recognize that objects in the scene are people, and we can draw out particular zones where we want to detect these people. So you'll see there, for example, there's a gentleman there in the background. He's behind a fence, so we can clearly see that he's there. But how do we tell the cameras to see that, right? So it's difficult for just a standard camera to look at that and just say, hey, there's somebody there. Well, we add the analytics using our GANs AI box to give us that in-depth analysis. So what does this do for us? It helps improve our response times. Number one, right? So when we have a device like an AI box telling us that there's a person in a particular zone where there shouldn't be, you know, we can improve the amount of time in which we respond and actually be clear about what we're seeing. So that in turn will make us more efficient, right? Now we don't have to go and pull up a video, find out if for sure that was a person versus maybe a bag floating through the air that crossed those zones. Because before, the old ways, right? It was just, I want to see motion detection, or anytime motion detection occurs, send me the alert. No, we want to be specific now, right? We want to actually take advantage of the artificial intelligence. Tell us when there's a person that's there in that particular zone during these hours, right? We can get very detailed with that. And we can create some sort of behavioral analysis in a sense of, for us, you know, we can identify where people tend to enter the most, where they tend to loiter. Sometimes we'll identify things we didn't know before. So we can create, alert times or a time stamp in which we can create those alerts to come through. So we can definitely do a lot of these different things by adding AI to your system. And I'll touch on this a little bit. Adding AI as we're progressing through this and the AI box, we're going to talk about this and adding it to your already existing infrastructure to help enhance and improve those alerts. You know, a lot of the questions that come about where, you know, how can I add it to an existing, system that already has it? It's old, it's legacy, you know, all of these different terms that come about, but there's a way to do so. And we'll introduce that for you in a little bit here, but it's basically our AI box. So enhancing the threat detection, right? So again, you know, this is real-time analysis. AI can process the vast amount of data in real time. So it's constantly looking at the video, analyzing for, people, either whether it's animals, vehicles, bicycles, I mean, you name it. There's a couple of different things that you could do there. The machine algorithm also, learns patterns and not just behavior per se, because that sounds a little bit too on the nose there, but it really analyzes the video that it's looking at. It's analyzing the way trees move, the way shadows start to moving, and it creates an algorithm based on that. And because the AI is already built in, it's not again. I'll touch on this again, but AI is not like the Terminator movies, right? Where eventually it's going to come for us. No, it's AI in a sense of machine learning. And machine learning, what that means is it's been introduced to a set of images to tell us, hey, this is what people look like, or this is what dogs look like versus cats and birds, or bicycles versus motorcycles, those types of things. So, and with this, we can try to eliminate some of those false positives and really enhance the way we look at video, and help us, trigger what we want from these detections. So the improved response times, as I was alluding to earlier. So AI, because when we set up our zones and rules, we can say, hey, outside of these time zones, I want to get alerted. Everything lives within this enclosed device. There is no need for you to add additional software or another huge server, things like that, or even another person for that matter, right? We'll kick it back to having personnel, a very legacy type of mindset where, hey, we have 100 cameras, let's give 30 cameras to each person to look at, and we're monitoring this constantly. Those, I don't want to say those days are over, because we still need personnel, right? We still need personnel out there. We still need them to respond to any threats that are happening. But what if we can alleviate some of that, downtime where they might just glaze over and look staring at cameras? Because once you start staring at cameras, it becomes difficult to really analyze as humans what we're looking at. Whereas AI is just going to tell us, hey, there's a guy right there. He doesn't look like he's doing anything good in this particular scene. He's crossed the zone outside of our time schedule. Let's send out an alert, and we can send out those responses, whether it's triggering an alarm, strobe lights, emails, text messages, or we want to just hit a VMS platform altogether. We can do all of these different things and in an instant, and let that device do the work for us. So this, having said that, we're going to increase our efficiency. We don't necessarily have to reduce the amount of people that we do have to employ, or the security personnel, but we don't necessarily need personnel staring at cameras more often, right? We do need somebody to still respond. So I'm not saying completely eliminate them. Don't take that completely the wrong way. We still need people to look at these cameras, right? Obviously, and respond to these particular threats. We still need those boots on the ground. So yeah, well, we can still help you optimize and minimize some of those costs involved with managing a large scale system. On top of that, the AI systems are going to greatly reduce our false alarms where, we see maybe a box in the particular scene where it's detected because of the pixel size as a human versus actually being a human, right? So these machine learning algorithms they just know what people look like. And sure, it's not perfect, right? There are going to be some times where it may get it wrong. But this is where we come into play with some of the interface technology that we've introduced into this product, where it makes it easier for you to try to minimize that, and then help guide this AI to say, okay, in this particular scene, they could be this size at the most, or this size at the minimum. Those are the different things that we can address. The data processing and management. So we've come a long way again with technology. You'll see a lot of IoT devices out in the world today. The analytics do work well with IoT devices, whether it's communicating via an API or an HTTP. And that can allow us to enhance the way we survey a lot of these different areas. So whether we want to attach like a vape detector or something like that to our AI box, and we want to get triggers and alerts to the nearest camera, or we want to attach a cellular modem that's communicating via MPPTT or anything like that going back. I mean, there's a slew of different things now that we can access through IoT devices, and this is where the world is heading, right? We want low-powered, high efficiency, high data integration devices to spit back the information that we want. So this is all already thought about for these types of devices. So we do have a lot of these different things working in the background that you can really analyze and process all this data from a variety of different sources that you may have deployed out in the real world. And again, so talking about this, the cost reduction. So the cost reduction in this, sure, there is a small, in comparison to, the operations, there's a small investment to put these AI systems into place or devices. But in the long run, you'll lower your operational costs, right? So there's no real need to have, again, and I'll keep harping on this, but real need for somebody to constantly monitor cameras, right? We do necessarily or still have to monitor these cameras, but we don't have to stare at the screen, I guess is what I should say. But we can monitor it via email, whether it's a push alert, text message, whatever that is. And we can scale this even larger. So if you're a growing company, you have a growing campus, whatever the case may be, it'll grow with you, right? Obviously, it may require a little bit more devices, but that expansion and scalability has taken into account of what we can and can't do with security, and it's a lot of more of what we can do, not really not what we can't do. And I'll get that, I'll dive into that a little bit more here, which just takes me to my next slide, which is where we are continuously learning and improving as well as the device. So the adaptive learning, as I was mentioning before, we're looking at new ways to analyze data, whether it's from GPS units, IoT devices, or in the device itself, learning what screens look or what the images look like. There's constant machine learning happening. So our engineers are constantly working overtime to make this happen. And we can get down, again, we're talking about security, but now let's dive into a little bit of safety, right? We can analyze the structure of the human body and attach what's called a skeleton figure to them. So we can analyze their body movements too. So we can tell you whether or not somebody's gazing at something or looking at something with interest. We can also tell you if they're improperly lifting a box. We can tell you if somebody's aggressive or has some sort of threat analysis to that, where they're maybe look like they're fighting or they're harassing somebody else. Those are the different things that we can do by analyzing the existing video that's at our hands and just continue to improve and learn upon. So you'll see here in just a moment. But having said that, this is our AI box. Let me introduce you to our nifty little GANs AI box. So this guy looks like nothing, but it is such a huge, huge player in the market today, and I think is a huge complement to any existing legacy systems or an existing infrastructure that may not have artificial intelligence and deep learning, to complement it. This is a huge step forward, and I say that because this device is, I guess the word is agnostic, right? So it's not just for GANs products. It'll play nice with everyone. So long as that camera is ONVIF compliant, or we can pull the RTSP stream from it, the AI box can see it. We can overlay analytics after the fact, and then you can get your alerts starting today, right? These things can happen in an instant. And you'll notice from this picture here, there are two network cards. So the way that this works, it'll sit on your network rack. One or the Ethernet one will go out to the internet so that you can get those alerts going out. And Ethernet 2 will plug right into the switch where all your cameras live. And then from there, we can assign those two different NICs, assign our analytics, and send all the alerts that you want from this box. So this device itself will handle up to 16 channels right out of the box. And it already comes standard with a bunch of analytics, which we'll dive into here in a few. So some of these different analytics that we have already, you could do crowd detection, the body gaze that I was alluding to earlier, which is somebody looking at a particular location. They look a little bit too interested in a particular area. Human detection, animal detection. We also have hand and foot intrusion, whereas before the old analytics, I guess what you could say, even the AI side of things, it would see a person and just draw an entire box around them. And whenever that box intruded into the zone or space, it would set off an alert. Well, now we can go and take that a step further and we can detect hand and feet. So if somebody's putting their hand in where they're not supposed to, whether it's machinery or expensive products, things like that, we can detect those types of different things at the very small level, right, of hand and feet, which is a very neat feature that we've put into play at various locations now. What's nice about this system, it is intuitive and easy to set up. It has a very easy web interface that allows you to set up your AI box with what we call AI apps, right? So the AI apps are, what you're looking to do. So you want to do like a virtual fence? Do you want to do an intrusion detection? Do you want to do loitering detection, right? Maybe a person's kind of just lingering around the area. Do you want to do a stay and go, right? Stop detection and zone counting. Those are the different things that you can do with these, and it'll show you in this like nifty little layout here that within the web interface to set them up. Here's the AI box deployed and working. So you'll see here, there's a gentleman coming right out of the tree and brush area in the background. It immediately starts to detect. It's telling us it's 60% confident. Obviously, as it hides behind some cars, it's not as confident until it actually sees a person. And that confidence threshold you can set to your liking. So if we need to reduce any false positives, we can set that threshold higher. As you can see, even at nighttime, it's still detecting that person, even though there's very little to no contrast within this particular view here. So, and again, these are the analytics work very fluid. It can tell us, these objects. You could even see the static objects if you wanted to in display. It'll show you the static vehicles, the boxes surrounding them, people, bicycles. I mean, you name it. Even in the snow, right? So a lot of the concerns is what if it's raining and the cameras are being rained on and you see constant downpour. It can still see through that and still make its determination. Obviously, it's not perfect, right? But you can still see some of the it'll determine whether or not that object is a person or not, even through some of that haze and rain and things like that that's going through that. And again, this is just a regular day-night camera looking at a construction site, and it's still able to determine that that's a person, even with a very minimal contrast that we're looking at here. All right, here is the next option that I was telling you, or I was talking to you about earlier, which is the skeleton that's drawn around people. So you'll see here that person's put his hands up, obviously is being threatened. So you'll see somebody there with an object. These are the different types of analytics that we've learned and come across these different scenarios to now. Let's say, okay, how do we determine if that person's really in danger, right? Well, you put your hands up, either somebody's got a gun at you or a weapon for that matter. It looks like a wrench or something in this particular instance. But you can see the outlines there on the people. And this is how we determine, for example, the improper lift detection that we were talking about, or even the fall detection, so we can detect when people fall in a particular scene as well. Here's another video. You can see there the detections for all the individuals roaming in this particular scene. So there's a zone around them telling you it's a person and their skeleton around them as well. So this will really determine exactly what some of the intentions and behaviors of these individuals are based on an algorithm. And these algorithms are now enhanced with a cloud enhancer, I guess is what you can call it. So these do live on their own. It does not require the internet for them to work. So everything you're seeing lives locally, but we do have an enhancement piece that allows you to have further analyzation of the video via the cloud, and this will help determine I guess, our threat level, or our triggers a little bit more efficiently as well, or be more accurate. Is what I should say. So the AI box. Here's some of the features that comes right out of the box. It has event rule combining. So if you need to do multiple zones in one camera and we need to trigger both of those rules before it actually sends a trigger, you can do that. Simple AI setup, as I mentioned, it has a very intuitive and simple web interface. It has a multi-level AI based false alarm reduction, which means we can tell it if we wanted to, we can go back to the nuts and bolts and say, hey, pixel based on these pixel sizes is how you're going to reduce some of these false alarms. So we only care about objects in this particular range of pixel sizes is kind of the simplest way I could put it. It does have a high performance pose estimation AI technology, smart scene detection. You can run multiple AI apps, I'm sorry, on each video. So before some of the AI technology, we could only put one analytic on it, but now we can overlay multiple analytics. So if we want to say, okay, I want to detect when a person arrives, and then add another zone and say, well, now I want to see what after that person has arrived, I want to see if they're going to linger for longer than 5 minutes. And then, you can continuously layer all of these different things together. This device can also easily integrate with other systems. So it is compatible with other VMS platforms. The two that come up to the top of my head is the Genetech, and Milestone also is integrated with the AI box. So it will communicate with that for these triggers and alerts. Again, has a web-based configuration. Comes with two network cards on the front there, and it has two options. It doesn't show you on here, but it does have two inputs for the power supply. So if you mount it one way or the other, it just makes it easier on your mounting, however you decide to do that. And it is NDAA compliant, if some of you were concerned or wondering about that. Some of the licenses, I won't go through all of them, but you can see here the licensing that comes in it. So you can buy this in, or just the, sorry, when you purchase the AI box, the standard licenses are what you see here on the left side. So you can do people detection. It still does vehicle, I believe bicycle and motorcycle. Has a stop and go zone counting. But you can also get other licenses that are not on or included with the standard, which is the Pro. This is the Pro version of that you can purchase, and that's the fallen detection, animal detection, the classification of vehicles. You can do the drone view, fisheye camera support as well, and then the intentional body gaze. So see, here's some of the things. I think for maybe 85% of people who purchase the AI box will probably be able to get away with the AI box standard, and it does give you quite a bit of engine power to do a lot of the detection. These are some of the add-on licenses that you can add on there that are not included in these packages. So, and one of the most popular ones now has been the no personal protective equipment. That one is a key feature for safety, especially in the logistics environment, illegal dumping, violence detection. You can do PTZ auto tracking. So if you already have a PTZ out there, you can have the AI box track an individual and then use the PTZ to follow them with the analytics built in. The aggression detection and bullying detection. Um, I mean, I think there's a couple more, but these are different licenses you can see here that you can add on a la carte to the AI box. So we have it's a huge list of things, but you know we have a lot of stuff that's cool. We encourage you to reach out to us. I'm going to open this up for questions and answers now, but we encourage you to reach out to us, and hopefully we can touch base with you one-on-one. So we can help you tailor some of these systems for your needs or for your customers' needs, and we can do a one-on-one training as well as a more in-depth webinar showing you in real time what this looks like and how you can deploy it. So I'll hand it over back to Nina, and we'll open this up for Q&A.
Okay, I don't see any questions live in the chat box, but we do have a couple that were sent in ahead of time. The first one is this system Edge AI or server?
So it's neither, I would say. If anything, I would say it's probably server based, but it's since it is an appliance, it's not at the edge, right? So edge, we were talking about cameras. It doesn't live on the edge. We're doing this after the fact. So this is a small device that's going to live on your network that's going to do the analytics overlay basically for your existing cameras. One of the things about this, so I get a question coming in. One of the things I see coming in about this, it's like versus server, or why would we use this versus on my server? Well, one of the things that we've noticed with some of the deployments with analytics is if you use the AI box and your server goes down, the analytics will still work, right? Because it's looking at the cameras directly versus looking for a server to pull the video streams in. So because we're communicating directly with the cameras, if that server goes down, you're still getting alerts, which is kind of the nice piece about that.
We've just had a question come in live from Chris. It says, you have spoken extensively about the alerts coming out of the unit. Do all of these apps have the ability to create onboard logs showing when alerts were sent to allow trend analysis, and retrospective reporting on quantity and type of alerts.
Yes, so you can get logs. I don't know how extensive you can get with it, but it will tell you, for example, there's zone breach, and then it sent out an alert based on that breach time stamps, and you can filter it from that. As a matter of fact, I think, well, yeah. But yes, you can do that. It just maybe not as extensive, but yes, you can filter based on alerts and things like that.
Gotcha. I have two more questions that was sent in previously, ahead of time. What other analytics are available for AI Box? But I think you went over that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Nina will make that available to you guys as well. So
Yes.
if you do need to look at the analytics list again, by all means, we encourage you to take a look at that and see what makes more sense for you.
Okay, and I think you kind of answered this in the beginning of the presentation as well. Will this work with any IP cameras?
Yes, it will work with any IP camera. There are going to be the ones and twos that may not work with, but so as I mentioned, so long as it's ONVIF compliant and or that has an RTSP stream capability that we can pull from the camera, we can pull it into the AI box and we can overlay analytics. So yes.
Gotcha. Okay, we have another live question from Joe. With the AI box challenged by a camera, would the AI box be challenged by a camera that is mobile? For instance, a camera on a marine vehicle, man overboard alert?
You're saying like a camera that's constantly moving, Joe? Is that your question? Versus a camera that's static on a building? If so, um, I've seen on a PTZ, for example, I've seen the PTZ where it's detecting an individual and it's panning and it's still tracking the individual. So I don't think that that's an issue for a moving vehicle to detect objects while it's moving, if that's what your question was.
Anyone can unmute themselves also if they'd like to ask a question live as well. Um, and that's all the questions we have for right now, unless anyone else has any.
Hi, Nina. I can clarify if that's appropriate, just on that question,
Of
because I
course.
am
Yeah.
thinking of a marine,
Yeah.
example. So not only is the boat moving, but it's looking out on just water. And so if it can recognize, hey, there's a person in that water and send out a
Mm.
signal, is there, something within the software that allows them to say, okay, there's the alarm, it got pushed out, but the boat is still moving and it happened, at a particular time? Or does it, if they're like connected through LTE or something, can it utilize navigation and things like that to know where in the world that happened?
That is a good question. I think the challenge there might be water. Um, but I think there might be some workarounds for that, right? Like obviously, I think using something like thermal imaging might help enhance some of the detection. But I think even detecting objects in water, that might be a good test for the AI box. But we can surely, send you a demo. We can test it out. Or if you do have a camera already on LTE that you want to shoot our way, and maybe we can test. By all means, we can try that out for you too.
Yeah, that sounds good. I was thinking along those lines of, there's always these specific particulars that apply to a certain individual. And so I just thought, to get the conversation started, would I, be able to say something like that, like, hey, this box will detect not just an object, but it can tell the difference between, you know, um, a breaching whale or a man overboard situation. And so, yeah,
Right.
obviously, though, we'd want to just bring that to you so we could really define what it would do for us, because my idea would be the manufacturer or the distributors that work in the marine industry be able to put that out and say, hey, this is a safety issue that we can solve with a analytics box.
Good
Yeah,
question.
definitely. And I can see a use case for that, right? So, and again, a lot of these different things we can probably talk to our engineers regarding some of the detection in water. type deal. I can't make any promises, but obviously, those are things that we can talk about and hopefully put into a real use case scenario. And I know you mentioned, if some man goes overboard and it detects it, how do we detect it with, maybe the GPS or something like that. One of the things that was floating through my brain is, we can possibly trigger an HTTP alert or kind of like an API grab, which once that person is detected in the water, it'll reach out to the GPS unit and say, send me the coordinates, and then it'll send out an email with that snapshot and possibly a little snippet of the coordinates of where that happened, if that makes sense for you, Joe.
Yeah, that would sound really cool.
Yeah,
I'll follow up
it
with you on that.
might take a little bit of tinkering, but yeah, that's definitely a
Of
possibility.
course. Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Okay, we have another question from Khalid. What is the FPS rate of the AI box?
So a very good question. So the AI box, I believe, can be set to a maximum of 7 frames per second if you're looking at your images from the AI box. Typically, we tend to use it around 1 frame a second. That way, we don't drive the engine resource down because it is processing video for the analytics. And then if you're requesting video from it, it takes a little bit more resources from it, right? So we tend not to do that. But if you wanted to, maybe just use the 1 frame a second from the box to look at the video. And that way, you can see in real time the detection and all that fun stuff that's happening in the background.
I have another question from Sanjeev. What image enhancement functionality is offered, for example, noise reduction or super resolution?
On this, that nothing is offered for image enhancement on the AI box side. We're more focused on the detection for security and safety more than enhancing images with the box, unfortunately.
Okay, and Khalid has a second question. Does the system generate false alarms, and what is the percentage of these?
Yes, again, I mentioned earlier, it's not perfect, right? So it is going to detect false alarms. I've seen it before where, the sun is beaming at high noon, and then we're getting a sharp shadow of a pole that may look like a person. So yeah, it definitely can happen. The percentage is relatively low, for example, but there are features in place that you can adjust to reduce the false positives that you're getting. So you can increase the threshold of or the confidence level of the detected object, where it can say, I don't want to know until you're 95% confident that that's a person, versus you think it's a person at 20%, send me the alert, right? Because then we'll get a bunch of false alerts for no reason.
It looks like that's all our questions, and then unless anyone else has one, I guess we can wrap it up.
Awesome. Guys, as I was mentioning before, I encourage everyone to reach out. If you're very interested in the product, reach out to me. My email is right there on display for you. Nina's going to share this webinar with you as well. My email is wgodoy@cbcamerica.com. Feel free to visit our website at gansecurity.com/AI box to get more information. You can download the spec sheets from it, as well as some of the license PDFs that are on there. So if you have any other questions pertaining to the AI box or want just a personalized demo, feel free to reach out to us. We're more than happy to set up demos for you and answer any questions you may have beyond this. So once again, thank you guys for your time. I appreciate your time for being with us here on the webinar.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Nina. Thank you, Will.